Staying in South Africa, opposition Democratic Alliance has called on Rand Water to come clean to residents of Gauteng on why it has started throttling the supply of water to residents across the province. For nearly a month now, the country has been subjected to load shedding, which has now affected the supply of water in many residents, with some experiencing low water pressure. The DA is demanding that Rand Water restore water supply to its full capacity and take residents to confidence and explain why there is a problem. They are also accusing the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, of not doing anything to solve the problem. So, Sirli Msimanga, DA Member of Parliament, joins us to unpack this latest developments. You are welcome, Sirli. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and to you and to the viewers at home.
Well, you are calling on the minister to come clean about water problems in Gauteng. What do you know, or what do you think he is not telling the residents?
Well, the problem is that we know that our dams are sitting at about 90-95% full capacity at this point in time. So clearly the problem is not, the availability of water. What is the problem right now is rainwater's ability to clean and to be able to then transport or to be able to transfer the amount of water needed for residents in all the municipalities across Gauteng. But more specifically, we are sitting with a problem in municipality of Johannesburg, in municipality of Mogale, which is the old Krugersdorp area. And we're also sitting in certain parts of the city of Tshwane, Pretoria, where we're sitting with this problem. Now, we know that part of the challenge that we're sitting with is due to Eskom as well. Given the fact that municipalities do have pumps, they do, have a situation where, if the reservoirs are full, they will be able to then pump water to the resident. But the fact of the matter is that when we have load shedding that has hit, there is a very, very low levels of reservoirs, which means that we're not able to have pressure enough to pump water, especially to high-lying areas. And this is why in certain areas we have now communities that haven't had water coming out of their taps now going on a month. And this is a big problem. We are saying to the minister, they must stop, blaming citizens and saying there's no electricity or there's no water. Therefore they need to be reducing, consumption. They should actually be telling residents that rainwater has for the longest of time not maintained its infrastructure that is causing a problem. But second part is that Eskom also needs to be taken to task for them cutting areas where we have reservoirs, and those reservoirs now not being able to fill up and not keeping up the required levels of water to be able to provide residents. And that's where the problem is.
Now, the situation of water and electricity in the country has become volatile. You have made mention of what can be done, but do you see an end to this if steps are taken to tackle the situation?
Well, look, you would know that the Democratic Alliance is in charge of a number of municipalities. So we've met with our mayors and we've asked them, what kind of communication are you getting from provincial government and from national government? And then you find that, the communication, yes, the minister has just now started acting to this, but we have been calling for this for a very, very long time. I don't know if you know that in February, I did write to the presidency, I did write to the minister back then, and I did write also to the Eskom CEO. I also wrote to then the Premier, David Makhura, to say, can we as political parties, can we as members of the civil society come together and begin to then address this problem? Because it is going to be a huge problem, that needs to be addressed. Even today, during the sitting of the legislature, I had again tabled another member statement and also put a motion in place to then say there needs to be a provincial task team that is put together to look at the issue of infrastructure. How do we then ensure that the infrastructure is adequate to be able to provide people with clean drinking water? But over and above that, how do we then ensure that we have a not a voter, but a civic education drive where we will also be talking to people about the importance of not only saving water, but also to ensure that we're able to report, leaks and pipe bursts, but also getting municipalities and rainwater and provincial departments of infrastructure to actually respond adequately and quick enough, to ensure that we have water that is being saved. But also, how do we ensure that, we don't have a sole reliance on Eskom as a supplier of electricity? We're now talking about identifying independent power producers that can assist us to ensure that when Eskom is ready or is rolling out load shedding, as today I'm talking to you, we're experiencing level 4 load shedding, which means that, you now have to be without electricity for at least 6 hours.
Well,
certainly.
Sorry to cut you because we're pressed for time, but then I'd like you to talk about the issue of the Minister of Water and Sanitation, that is Senzo Mchunu. Are you saying that he's not doing anything at all, or he's not doing enough to solve the problem?
We're not doing enough. I think, there needed to be a very, very stern meeting and a stance that the minister takes in terms of saying to the CEO of Rainwater, and the team at Rainwater, you have to do much more than what you're currently doing. We need to then also ensure that Eskom, as an entity that is solely responsible for the supply of electricity to Gauteng, can be told that there are certain areas that you cannot cut electricity from, because you cut electricity from those areas, then people will sit without water. We're now sitting with hospitals that don't have water. We're sitting with sometimes clinics and schools that don't have water. Now you can see that when Eskom cannot get its act together, it affects all avenues of life. And this is why we are saying to the minister, there needs to be more than just the talk that he has been giving us for the couple of weeks and months, and in the couple of days that has just gone by.
All right, thank you so much, Soli, for joining us. Big issue there as regards lack of water and, of course, electricity, but we hope that reprieve will come your way pretty soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.